Pecha Kucha 232 sizing up Sagat. And it's just called sizing up Sagat because if I just call it Sagat, it seems a little bit, I don't know, blunt. So yeah, the crux is I've spent this week drawing a picture of Street Fighter's very own Muay Thai murderer. Because he's cool. And the first thing I thought I'd do, because this is something I typically omit, is determine, based on reference imagery, what eye the eye patch is on. It's on the right eye. I have a habit of flipping images and screwing things up like this quite frequently. This is banked, and hopefully I'll remember. Same thing with the scar. It ends at the top of his chest on the right, underneath the right eye, the eye patch. First thing I decided to do was have a little bit of a think of what kind of image of Sagat I was going to do. I kind of knew what I was going to do before I even finished doing 4 images. I really should have done more, but I was kind of like, yeah, we're just going to draw that picture of Sagat, hand over the scar, him kind of filling up the space, looking off into the distance, macho type thing. It's it's just a typical Sagat pose. After kind of figuring out the broad strokes, I then spent a little bit of time trying to reference accurate musculature. I was going to go a lot more in depth with this, but ultimately I kind of just decided I've got it as close as I can be bothered to, so now I'm going to just try and adapt the pose a little bit and do something very sensible, leave myself some notes so I might remember in the future what makes this musculature accurate, because the thing about muscles is they're not for show, they make your body move, so if you kind of figure out how that works, it's easier to remember them in the future. Time will tell though. So after doing my rough kind of structural study, I got the G pen out and started doing some tight line work. For some reason, I'm not too bothered about the accuracy of Sagat's face. I think the idea is that this is, again, like the Turtles picture. It's more about how I colour this than how I draw it. And as you can see from all the blue marks, which is the layer I was working on underneath, and then the single black stroke, which is the G-pen layer on top, I'm building the shapes and then I'm using that to just do simple definition, hopefully building confidence with a very excellent tool, which is the G-pen, as I try to very objectively and very clearly establish Sagat's physical strength through accurate musculature and as clean line work as I'm liable to get without losing my mind and activating vector layers and all of that kind of stuff. So I learned Sagat wears loose-fitting shorts. I don't know how to draw loose-fitting shorts, but I looked at enough pictures of Sagat wearing them. Hopefully, I have done a depiction of them that is not so obviously wrong it would draw one's attention. The hardest thing, of course, was drawing his hand over the scar, because it's not just a foreground object in front of a background object, which is his chest. I'm not very good at hands, and it's a particular position and on all of this stuff, but I kind of just, made some decisions, tried to keep the line work clean, and then went, you know what, screw it, that'll do. And this is what the line work for Sagat looks like. I'm not sure about the pose, but it's not so wrong that I can figure out how to tweak it. I think it's probably good enough. Again, I'm hoping to color this and learn how to color efficiently. While I was looking at all of these Google images of Sagat, I came across some kind of zombie Street Fighter meme thing. I don't know what it is, but I saw it and I can't unsee it, so now I'm sharing it with you and we can all get interneted together. So the background I was toying with was, his famous kind of Buddha statue in the background reclining. Giant reclining Buddha statue. If you haven't seen it, that probably didn't help explain it. So I'm trying to draw this in the background, but I haven't really mapped the floor. So I haven't really mapped how the Buddha is lying on the floor. I feel like with Sagat in front of this, it's not really that big a deal. I might ultimately have to redraw the whole thing from scratch just to make it seem less innocuous, but we will see. So I've just started doing the flat colours, and again, I'm not necessarily picking the colour I think is the right colour, but I'm picking something that I think I can brighten or darken that might give me Sagat skin colour. But this is probably close enough. But anyway, you'll see more next week probably. This week I also try to figure out what the fuck's going on with my pension, because I'm neither working nor unemployed, so I kind of have to sort out my own national insurance. And surprise, surprise, the government does not give a flying fuck if citizens understand eligibility to any of this stuff. You go to their website, it's a fucking mess. I think I'm fine, but I don't know. Also this week, I've been watching a guy play Total War in Russian. I don't know Russian, and I'm not trying to learn, so why am I watching this guy? Well, I came across him, and I like how he plays the game. It's very unorthodox. Probably the more interesting thing is, when I watch people play Total War, it usually makes me want to play Total War. A part of my regular entertainment schedule is watching people play video games. When I watch people play old, emulator games, I just find it entertaining in a kind of anthropological way. I don't want to play Contra, but it's cool to watch people play Contra. It's interesting to see where we've come from in a medium that's younger than me. But Total War, I could play it on my Mac, but I would much rather not fuck up my Mac, because the last time I updated it, that's what happened. I've chosen to keep making Pecha Kuchas without trauma, because I make my Pecha Kuchas on my MacBook instead of playing Total War or updating the MacBook so I can, which is a very rare instance of me choosing art over gaming, which I almost never do. This is encouraging. Hopefully I can find ways to do this in the future, and I'm not saying I'm never going to play Total War, but there is a barrier of productivity between me and it, and it's very intriguing to me. We'll see if anything comes of it. But that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 232. There'll probably be the rest of the Sagat thing next week, but who knows? I'm going outside tomorrow. I might just die. We'll see.